Hi everybody. In this video I'm going to talk about ASP.NET Cookies, web cookies. Cookies are, they provide a means in web applications to store user-specific information. This information can be user history or user preferences or to keep track of user activity. For example, if you have a poll, you have a web application that allows users to participate in polls, and you might store a cookie whether a user has taken a poll or not, so they cannot vote twice in that poll. Or you can store users' favorite content, and based on cookies, web pages can provide more customized, more personalized um, content. Now, how do we save cookies and read cookies? There are two ways to save cookies, create cookies. First one is by setting properties, cookie properties on the cookies collection. Before we get there, I'm going to just explain what's going on in this page. We have a label and we have a drop down. When the user chooses a color from the drop down, its value is going to be saved as a cookie. And if there's a cookie, the label will print out the color and it's going to change the color of the cookie. And if there's no cookie, it's just going to simply display a message that says there's no cookie found. This will happen, the cookies will be saved when when the selected index changes for this dropdown. So in the backend, in the code behind, we're going to create the cookie in the selected index changed event handler. To create our cookies, we're gonna access the response object, and response.cookies, let's say user settings is gonna be the name of my cookie, and then the property of that cookie will be color. So the color property and value of my cookie will come from the dropdown. Okay, so if the user chooses red, then my cookie's value is going to be red. Now, you can decide when a cookie expires. To do that, we're going to use the expire property. That expires. And here you need to add a date time object. So, for example, I'm going to make this cookie expire 1 day from now, from the page's run. Now, add days 1 day. By the way, if you want to delete or destroy a cookie, all you have to do is to set the expire date to a past date. So if I do -1, it's going to actually destroy this cookie. But I want this cookie to be deleted after 1 day, so I'm going to leave it here. Now, in order to read the cookie, I'm going to fill out the page load event handler. And before I do anything, I'm going to create an HTTP context object. HTTP context object holds information about the current HTTP request, and such as it can hold information like request, response, objects, server sessions, items, cache, user information like authentication, etc., and many other stuff. I'm not going to get too detailed in that one. I'm just going to show you how you can read the cookies here. HTTP context equals HTTP context dot current. Okay. Now, if I'm going to access the request object. So when you're reading the cookie, instead of response, you're going to have to use the request object. Request.cookies. If user settings is not null, means there's such a cookie, then I'm going to create a color cookie string and read the value into this variable, read the color value to this variable. So I'm going to use this variable so I don't have to type this long line over and over. Now I'm going to change the text of my label 1. If there's a cookie, it's going to say user favorite color is color cookie, and the color of the label 1 text will also change. Style dot add HTML text writer style dot color cookie. Now let's build our solution, and then let's run this and see. Oh, by the way, if there's no cookie, we'll just print out that no cookie is found. Okay, currently there's no cookie right now, and I'm going to choose a cookie, let's say blue. Now, as you can see, it reads from the cookie, which is a text file that is saved within the browser in the client hard disk, and it changes my page content based on my color preference. Okay. Now let's go back here. The second way to create a cookie is by actually creating a HTTP cookie object. So I can define in the object constructor I can pass in my cookie name, and then I can define the property of the cookie this way. Oops. And then same way I can tell when my cookie expires. And finally, if you go this way, you need to add to response object cookie collection, cookies collection. You should add your newly created cookie, and this will actually work the same way.